So let's talk about mistakes that you should avoid when you're writing your promo emails. Fortunately for you, we've made these mistakes ahead of time so that you don't have to. So make sure that you follow these guidelines and make sure that you avoid these few things that we're about to tell you so that you can keep focus on writing good emails and creating a responsive list. So the first thing I want to talk about is forgetting the purpose. A lot of times when you write your promo emails, you tend to lose sight of the purpose, or you lose sight of the objective. And here's what happens is, normally what happens is, let's say for example you're writing an email and you're recommending a product, and you write a recommendation on an ebook about, for example, building a bigger bicep. For example, the muscle growth or the bodybuilding weightlifting niche. And of course when you're writing it, you write the subject line and you write the opening, and it all has to do specifically with that ebook or how you can tips to build a bigger bicep. And then you stray off to the other end and start talking about triceps and shoulders and this and that. And even though they're part of the muscle group, what I'm trying to say is that you lose sight of the objective. So each and every word of that email needs to be directed towards that ebook that talks about building a bigger bicep. The second mistake is making your promo emails too long. There's a difference between writing a promo email and writing an educational email. The thing I've learned is that when you write educational emails, you can go a little longer than 400 words, but the only problem with that is that even if it's educational, most people don't want to read, 2-3 pages worth of emails. When you write your promo emails in specifics, you want to keep it short. So you want to keep it probably 400 or less words. So you probably don't want to go over 500 words, otherwise you make it too long. And if it's too long, most of the time you make the mistake of the first mistake. You lose sight of the objective and you start writing about other things and people get sidetracked. So you want to get people focused on that one purpose and keep it short. The third mistake is avoid using too much hype, and basically avoid using a lot of these exclamation marks in your sentences as much as possible. Most of the people out there reading your promo emails, all they want to hear is what it is, why it's beneficial to them, and how they can get it. It's okay if you're excited, but when you write the email, remember when the reader reads it, they might not be as excited as you are, and they might read that the wrong way. And of course that brings us to the next mistake, is to avoid using weak subject lines. The first thing anybody reads is the headline. In this case, for the promo email, it's the subject line. Before they click the subject line, it's got to be effective. If it's not effective, and if it's in a weak subject line, promo email. So you basically want a subject line that will incite curiosity, and actually I'll talk to you more about creating strong subject lines in the next video. And of course the next mistake is not using bullet points. In this sense, if you don't use bullet points, and as you know, when people read an email, a sales page, most people use bullet points, because what happens is when people scan the email, they look for bullet points, and if they see the bullet points, it makes it easier for them to read. So the mistake here is not using bullet points. When you do that, it makes it easier to read. The easier it is to read, better they will know the objective, and they will understand what it is you're selling or what it is that you are recommending to them. And of course the next mistake is treating your list like a bunch of email addresses. When you forget that your email list is a bunch of people, and you begin to treat them like, hey, buy this. And of course you're not feeding them content, and you're not feeding them valuable information. Eventually what happens is your list begins to not respond to you, and your list becomes a diluted list. And the last mistake I would like to talk about is the PS line. If you fail to use the PS line effectively, then you miss out on being able to incite some interest, because what happens is people read down the email And the PS is going to be located after you say thanks, so and so, your name. And then you put PS, blah, blah, blah. The PS is going to be a sentence that directly hits the main objective. For example, say you're running a special that day and you say, grab this such and such product for a $50 discount from Tuesday to Thursday. A lot of people, what happen is they scan it, and they'll scan it and then they'll read the PS line. But if your PS line doesn't tell them exactly what the main idea or main objective is, then it might not sell. So the PS line allows you to convert your promo emails at a higher rate. So make sure that you follow these guidelines that I've showed you in this video and apply it to your emails.